back, and this is your first time here. I'm the Northwest Fisherman Chris, and today we're going to be cracking open the June Monster Bass Platinum box, which is in a bag now. So, I like these bags. I can honestly say I kind of like the bags more than the boxes because they're just a little bit more useful. Alright, this month is going to be all about topwater because, well, it's June and pretty much it doesn't matter where you are in the country. It's topwater season. Alright, let's get this thing cracked open. Blah, blah, blah. Big poppers. I like big poppers and I like the downsize, like the little mini poppers. Of course, you're going to throw it, they say medium fast. I agree with that, but I also kind of disagree with that. Yeah, medium fast probably the way to go. Reel 6/8 to 1 bait caster. I'd realistically say 7/2. 40-pound braid. I could agree with that. Alright, what's the next one? Frogs. That's like a permanent staple for topwater. Frog. Heavy fast, 751 bait caster and 60-pound braid. Yeah, I would agree with that. I wouldn't even necessarily say that you need 60-pound braid. I think 30 is a good, like, cover all your bases weight. Bass fishing bait selection guide. Blah, summer, spring, five things to avoid when fishing ploppers. So we're getting a whopper plopper. Interesting. It's a video, not actual information. Sort of annoying, kind of neat. People that got their PB on stuff in the box earn rewards from your loyalty. Blah blah blah. Grande Bass Limited Edition color. I wonder if I got that. Okay, let's just crack into this thing and see what we got going on here. Let's just go front to back of the bag. So we got a B8 Lab plopper. It's actually pretty exciting. I like ploppers. I don't have the best luck with ploppers, but I like ploppers. I'm more of a traditional buzzbait kind of guy, or popper type of guy when it comes to topwaters. So the color on this guy here is going to be Ghost and Glow, which I can see that. So starting out on top here, we've got a nice, kind of like the whole thing's translucent first of all. Oh, you can kind of see my finger through it. Okay, so you've got like this diamond pattern here in a ghost black. You've got your translucent size with your black dot, and most importantly, you got that chartreuse underbelly there. There's nothing on the plopper part. The propeller itself is completely clear, and you've got some nice little hooks here. They're not too big, they're not too small. I think if anything, they're leaning towards the edge of being too small. The nice thing about fishing ploppers is, unlike a buzzbait, you can pause it, you can rip it. Basically any technique that you can do with like a popper, like just quick popping it or whatever, you can do all that with a plopper and the tail will just turn on. It's pretty great. When you do stop them, one thing to keep in mind, most ploppers are back heavy, so it will sit like this. So if you're fishing right over grass, that could be an issue. One other thing that I kind of don't like about most ploppers are the propellers. If you're fishing somewhere that has like a lot of cotton from cottonwoods. Oh, mine's bent. We want to bend that back a little bit. There we go. It will clog up the tail, but you're going to get that with anything with a moving blade on topwater during cottonwood season. Catching back to that part where I was talking about you can do most things with a popper that you can with a plopper. It's even got kind of a dish mouth here to let it spit just a little bit if you want to pause it and like pop it and rip it. Ploppers are a great bait. I really do like throwing ploppers. Speaking of ploppers, let's open the popper. This one's from 13 Fishing. This is the Poppy McPuck face. It's a 75 series, so it is a plus size popper by most standards. The color on this guy is going to be chrome blue black. Chrome blue back. There we go. This is a good popper. I like this popper a lot. Nice dish face. You've got that bright blue back, a little bit of silver hit into it. The sides are a nice copper, and the belly is a pearl white. It's got a nice white and red feathered tail, which is great because I'm a sucker for feathered treble hooks, especially for tails on topwater. Nice bigger size hooks, much bigger hooks than what were on the plopper. You can see that side by side comparison there. This is more like a size 4, while these are more like a size 6 probably, maybe smaller. Let's give this thing a listen, see what it sounds like. Nice big heavy solid knocker, which the rattle isn't so much what you're looking for with a plopper, it's the quality of the mouth of it. How much water is this thing going to push, and how much effort it's going to take to get this thing to spit water. Plus size poppers, sometimes you have to rip them kind of hard to get them. I know this one, in fact, you can pop it fairly gently and it will just shoot water everywhere. It's a very good reaction bait. The only thing that I wish was slightly different, and they would kind of take more mainstream with poppers, is instead of putting the red and silver in that rear tail, is putting like a couple strands of chartreuse in that tail. Other than that, this is a fantastic bait. I know I've had this before. I don't know if I got it from the MONSTERBASS box or not, but it doesn't matter because this is a great bait. Alright, moving on. We have the jumping minnow from Rebel. This is, of course, bone. Blah, blah, blah. Surface. Yeah, it's just a walking bait. Nothing super... I mean, I say just a walking bait, but, I mean, it's a walking bait. So, for those of you that don't know what a walking bait entails, when you fish it, you kind of want to treat your rod motions like it's a jerk bait, or at least that's how I work mine. So you're going to do little swipes with it while keeping tension on the bait itself, so you get this darting action of the bait itself, and you are relying a little bit heavier on that rattle sound. One thing to note, other than the fact that this thing is bone and it's just bone, which is great. I'm not upset about that, because bone walking baits are absolutely great. That is kind of weird. So it's got like saltwater style galvanized hooks on it. I don't know how well you can see that, but they are galvanized. Or, well, I shouldn't say galvanized. They've got that like grain nitrate coating on them, which you typically only see on saltwater baits, which won't affect this at all. Like, it's definitely going to still work in freshwater. This is great, actually. Nice noise, large profile, perfect color. This is going to be a really, really good bait. I'm super excited about this. Let's go to the next one. Alright, this is called a snake frog, because it's snaky, because it's a snaky snake frog. Alright, so only probably a third of my viewers actually got that, but we're going to let her slide. The color on this guy here is no color, but it's like a glow-in-the-dark kind of, it's not quite a bone, but it's pretty close. Let's get this thing out and see what it really looks like. Okay, so you've got a hollow body, frog body, okay, up here towards the front, which is kind of interesting. It goes So it's not a hook through like a normal frog. Do I have a frog just laying around here? No. My other fishing stuff's in the back. So normally with your frogs, your hooks will extend all the way through the body, and then that's where you tie onto. This has a harness, so the whole front of this is soft. Okay, and you can see the harness coming out the front here. Kind of interesting. It's on a swivel. I'm not sure how I like the idea of a harness on a bait that I'm going to be setting pretty hard, but I am really intrigued by the blades. I wonder if you're supposed to fish this more like a moving bait. Glued bottom, wide gap hook, silicone body. This body is really nice. I will admit that. This silicone body, this is pretty sweet. The hook points are pretty close to each other and narrow. I think for me to want to fish this, I think I'm going to bend those hooks out a bit toward the sides and up, because they're pretty tight on the profile, and there's room there, there's plenty of room there, but I'd like just a little bit more. I think you're supposed to just swim it. That'd be my guess. Oh, it's called, the color is MONSTERBASS Glow. Okay, yeah, so I can see that. I wonder if it glows in the dark. Let me... Okay, so this actually does glow in the dark. Huh. I'm going to definitely try to fish this. I don't think I'm going to treat it like a regular frog, though. I think I'm going to just swim it. That's the idea with the blades, right? You'd think. Kind of intrigued by this thing. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This is kind of... Never seen a frog like this. Some of you guys might have seen a frog like this, but I've never seen a frog like this. This is interesting to me. I'm not the biggest frog fisherman in the world, but I'm definitely willing to give this a shot. This is pretty sweet, actually. The more I look at this, the better it gets. Huh. Still intrigued by the blades. I think this is supposed to be a moving bait. Maybe those blades just have enough movement when they're laying down the water to catch light. I don't know. I'm gonna have to fish it to find out. Okay. Is this the exclusive? Airtail stick, grande bass. 2. I think I got it. Actually, it doesn't quite look like that picture, but it's definitely a grande bass airtail. So the airtails are pretty cool. I like to use them for a lot of things. Sometimes I'll just EWGs. Did I get hooks? No, I didn't get any EWG style hooks. Okay, so a lot of times with these airtails, I like to fish them Texas rigged. I'll throw like a 3/8 ounce or like a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight in front of it, and then just Texas rig it like I would basically everything else, just like that. So what's really cool about these is they've got this airtail, which is super buoyant. So when you've got it rigged up, let's say just like this, it essentially sits exactly vertical like that in the water. So if you're using a peg weight or whatever, it'll sit like this. If you're doing a Carolina rig, say your bottom's here where my right hand is, it'll sit kind of like this, depending on how heavy the gauge of the wire of the hook that you're using is. So that's pretty cool. Airtails, they're not super popular, I don't feel. I really feel like they should be, because there's definitely a time and place for them. They're not that bait that you want all year long, but sometimes that airtail bite is just... And you can even, you can Ned rig this, you can Neko rig this. I see that they gave us a jig. Let's just go ahead and crack that thing open. Nice black and blue. Castaic jig here. This is the RC Hammer casting jig. It's obviously black and blue, but I mean, it doesn't really matter too much that our airtail is like a, it's kind of like a green, yeah, it's a green pumpkin with blue and red flake in it. So you got your jig here. Of course, jig's got this tiny little beam molded keeper, which isn't ideal, but it'll work. Go ahead, just rig this up here. In fact, I'd probably rip off a little bit of this. Just for, so there's enough buoyancy in the body of this and the tail itself that it'll pretty much hold this jig just like this, and the whole back of this is just going to kind of slowly move in the water until you pop it, and then it's going to slow fall because it is really buoyant. How heavy is this jig? It's a 1/4 ounce jig, yeah. So this is a super slow fall where it's just going to kind of fall very slowly, and it's going to hit the bottom. You're going to pop it, and it's going to slow fall back down. Airtail jigs, airtail baits, I'm a pretty big fan of them. Not a huge jig guy, not a huge like worm bait guy, but if I'm going to throw one, I like the airtails. I like the airtails quite a bit. The color on this is SSA Bednarg. I'm really guessing this is probably the exclusive color, which is pretty sweet. They're only giving that to 5,000 people, so it's pretty lucky they have my hands on that. Hopefully that is. Even if it's not, I'm not upset about that. And our last bait in our bag here is Vicious Fishing. This is a fishing stick, 2 3/4. The color on this is Ned Candy and Watermelon on red. So yeah, it's a nice little Ned bait. Once again, this is something that you can throw just on the back of this jig. Works perfectly fine. You got like a nice, like, I call it pickle. It's like a pickle on this end. And then you've got your normal ribs like you would expect from a Cinco on this end. It's a good bait. It's a great color. Like this isn't like a situation where I feel like I got like discount room baits here. I mean, the only thing that I could possibly even try to complain about is that my plopper is a BB-8 and not a River to Sea. That's the only thing I could probably complain about. Now, this 13 Fishing popper, super excited. I really like this popper. I know I've had this popper before. I know I've lost this popper. Definitely had this before. I don't know if I bought it or if I got it from Monster Bass or where I got it, but I know I've had this exact popper, and this thing is a tank. Bone walking baits. This is really, really good. This is a super solid, super simple bait. This will do work. It's a plopper. They work. They just work. Jigs are good. You can fish a jig 365, 24/7, all of the time. The airtail bait and the Ned rig, never really gonna be mad about getting more Ned rig baits because, well, we all know Ned rigs just catch fish. Airtails are kind of a niche thing, but I like the airtails. I like the airtails a lot. I'll even flip these. Like throw these on with like a 1/2 ounce weight and then just let them sit, because they'll sit pretty much vertical. Or even throw them on jigs. I love throwing these on jigs. Anything that is going to sit for a second or that I want to fall pretty close to vertical, this is the ticket. Now the bait in here that I'm kind of, I shouldn't say the most excited about, But the bait that I'm the most curious about is the snake frog. Like, this is interesting. I just don't know if this harness is going to help or if it's going to hurt. Because I'm not sure really how I feel about that extra bit of line. I feel like that could result in some lost hookups. But, I mean, this is an interesting bait to say the least. It's either going to work great or it's going to be a complete waste of time. There's not really going to be a whole lot of, like, in between. However, it being glow in the dark, that's actually really, really cool, and I can't wait to fish this, because that's going to... You know, another thing about it, I don't really have any, like, glow-in-the-dark bass lures. I don't know if that's by design, or because bass don't really care about glow-in-the-dark, or the fact that most of us don't bass fish in the dark. I mean, I don't, really. I mean, dusk and dawn. I mean, your bone colors, they show up really well at night, but actual glow-in-the-dark frog, that's pretty cool. No, this sack was good. I mean, somebody in the comments is gonna say that it wasn't good, it wasn't great, that all the baits sucked or whatever, but that's also, I mean, that's YouTube comments anyway, so let's be real about that for a second. Yeah, no, this is gonna be great or this is gonna suck, and there's probably a reason why I've never seen this before, but I can't wait to try this. This is like stupidly neat. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the whole unboxing here. I think it's a great box bag, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, no, these airtails. I like everything in this bag. The only thing in this bag that I'm probably not going to use fairly soon is probably going to be the jig, because I have piles of black and blue jigs. Everything else is going to get fished like right away. But yeah, guys, it's hot outside. I don't think I need to tell anybody that they need to stay hydrated when they're out there. Okay? Drink water. Stay in the shade. I know we all like have a little bit of hatred that like Monster Bass has. I know my Six Sack has, and basically every subscription box I've ever gotten, you've gotten a here. I got an extra one over here. A face covering of some sort. Okay. That's their subtle way of telling you they don't really want you to have skin cancer, okay? So as much as we'd rather have another lure than sun protection, protect yourselves. Find some shade. Use sunscreen. I don't like sunscreen. That's why I have UV clothes. Yeah, it's hot. It sucks outside, but they're biting. The fish are biting. Just be careful out there. Be so careful. I was out yesterday, and it was hot. It wasn't a rough day. It was a good day fishing. I was just smashing smallmouths on deep diving crank. Super good day. Super calm. However, it was like 96, so drink a lot of water, drink a lot of fluids, just be careful in the heat, guys. And just remember, no matter what, FAFO, fish around and find out. Take care, guys.